and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, Prime Minister Davis promising that there will be not as tough a financial impact for Bahamians as the Middle East conflict continues. Meanwhile, Senator Darren Henfield says one way the government can ease any financial burden right now is by putting a cap on VAT at the pumps. Airline operators say the Middle East conflict and the increase in oil potentially will push the price of airline tickets up. And an F&M candidate is being sued by a former employee. We tell you all about it. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, as the conflict between the United States and Israel and Iran continue to escalate, Prime Minister Davis looking at impact it could have on the cost of living. Today, Davis assured the Bahamian people that the government is moving to ensure the least impact as possible from the conflict is felt here at home. In an address to the nation today, Davis spoke to three key issues, one of them being energy, insisting that electricity bills will not be impacted negatively by the conflict, as existing energy reform prepared the country for this eventuality. Davis also addressed concerns regarding the rising cost of food, as he revealed that a meeting between him and the Bahamas Retailers Association happened. In fact, it just wrapped up moments ago, and we have a statement coming from the Office of the Prime Minister. But first, here's the Prime Minister earlier today.
I want to hear their concerns directly, hear what they are seeing in the market, and hear what practical steps can help ensure that relief reaches the people who need it. Because that is the focus. Bringing costs down for Bahamian families is the focus. Giving people relief at the grocery store is the focus, and nothing will get in the way of that. My government will stay close to this issue. We will work with retailers, we will listen carefully, and we will keep pushing for results that people can feel in their everyday lives. That includes illegal migration, maritime smuggling, and other unlawful activity across this region. So we are watching that situation very carefully in Haiti and Cuba. The Royal Bahamas Defense Force remains on alert from Great Bahama Bank to Key Sal Bank and to Anguilla Key. We are actively monitoring our maritime space. Our assets remain in the Southern Bahamas, and we are working closely with the United States Coast Guard and other partners.
With those growing tensions, there could be some security concerns. However, Davis assured that aspect is also being monitored closely. I'll go to the statement that was released just moments ago, just as I came on air. The statement from the retailers meeting with the Prime Minister wrapped up again just a short while ago. It says, in part, I met with the representatives from the grocery retail industry because the number one goal remains clear, bringing down the cost of living for Bahamian families. Families across our country are working hard every day, and they deserve a government that stays focused on easing pressure at the checkout line and around the kitchen table. That is why we came together today in a spirit of cooperation and shared purpose. I am pleased we could find a solution so that Bahamians will benefit from the change of VAT on unprepared food in grocery stores beginning April 1st. That is about helping Bahamian families, keeping more of their money in their pockets. It is about making everyday essentials more affordable. And it is about showing that when government and industry come together, goodwill and seriousness, or with goodwill and seriousness, we can deliver real results for the people we serve. Let's see if I can perhaps scroll down a bit. Again, this statement is on the Office of the Prime Minister's Facebook page. You can read it in its entirety. But of course, we are live this evening, so I'm just reading bits and pieces of it. The Prime Minister continues, I believe in partnership, I believe in practical action, and I believe in building on the progress we have already made for the Bahamian people. Today's meeting was another example of that approach in action. We listened to each other, we worked through the issues, and we agreed on a way forward that keeps the focus where it belongs, on delivering relief for Bahamian families. April 1st will mark an important step. The full removal of VAT on unprepared food in grocery stores will help many families across the Bahamas as they manage the rising cost of living. My government will keep working every day to find ways to ease the burden on working people, support households, and move this country forward. Again, I read in part a statement released moments ago, just as I came on air, by the Office of the Prime Minister after that meeting with the retailers, the grocers, who themselves have a number of concerns to do with back office stuff and operations as it relates to the removal of VAT on unprepared food. I imagine we will hear more about that, but let's just jump in right there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, my contributors, Cassius Stewart and Ellington Ferguson. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Shanique.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, your thoughts on, first, the Prime Minister addressed, and you saw earlier today, he spoke to the Bahamian people through the media, and then just a short while ago, they wrapped up a meeting with the Retailers Association, who represent grocery stores, large scale, medium scale, I imagine mom and pop as well, to address some of their issues ahead of April 1st.
Well, while I applaud the Prime Minister for taking a proactive stance in this regard, I think, though, there's a different variable in this equation that I think he is missing. I know that you are addressing the cost at the checkout counter, but you haven't checked the shipping companies that ship stuff into this country. I'm in the wholesale business as well, too, and I think the bulk of our cost is in shipping, because in order for me to ship one container from Miami to Eleuthera, that's almost $7,000. That's from Miami to Eleuthera. So you see the escalation in the cost of goods. Now, if the Prime Minister can say, listen, we can't tell you what to charge, but in order to do business in the Bahamas, you got to find a way to bring those costs down. And so
why do you suppose that is overlooked? Because it's good. Listen, all of us are looking forward to that relief at the checkout counter, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to shipping, and this has been happening really since the pandemic, or maybe before, but certainly since then, this has been a major issue. Why has that not been addressed, do you think?
Well, because, of course, without any pun, some people, they've never experienced it. And so I'm sure the Prime Minister is not in this line of business. He's in the legal business, and so they don't have to deal with containers coming in. We get to deal with it every day, and we know the cost to bring stuff from China, from Turkey, from Miami to Eleuthera or to Nassau. We know the cost is very high. And I think the Prime Minister, you got to tackle it at that level. Once you tackle it at that level, then the people who are reselling or the people who are importing could get some ease of hemorrhaging, because, I just had to ship some products from Nassau to Eleuthera. That cost me almost, $5,000 just to ship that from Nassau to Eleuthera. And the burden is really on the shipping cost, because once we now factor in the shipping cost into our landed cost, the cost goes up. And so I know you want to be able to say, we want to provide the lowest possible cost at the checkout counters. But the time as we get those products to market, the price is already high, because we got to deal with all the VAT, the shipping, and then of course we double dip, because now when you factor in paying customs duty, you do the total valuation. Then once you get a total month, you pay VAT on the total month, which includes your customs, your total value, and your cost. And so the government really gets double dipping at the end on every container coming in, because VAT is charged on duty as well too. So once you pay your duty, then they charge you VAT on that duty. And so if you charge me VAT on the commodities plus the duty on the commodities, that's one thing. But once you then pay everything, then you pay VAT on the duties.
I
and
think
that's double dipping.
I think you kind of hijack a little bit this whole discussion with
sorry.
with bringing the easement
And so-
at in the grocery stores and the grocers. But so let's just kind of stay there for a moment and let's lobby later.
Yeah, but but I'm in the
No,
business.
but I understand, of course.
So
I
when
understand what you're saying. We've
bring
talked about it.
when I bring products in to distribute to the grocers, I know why the cost is high, because by the time as we give them a cost and they put their fees on top of it, it's difficult for them to maneuver. I mean, you're looking at reducing VAT, but that ain't the issue. VAT is on top of what the landed cost is. If we could find a way to bring the landed cost down by reducing the shipping cost, everybody benefits. Ellington?
It's a pretty good argument, and I must join you in commending the Prime Minister for taking the initiative from the government aspect to bring some sort of relief to Bahamian families as it relates to zero VAT on grocery items in the grocery store. I think it's going to go a long way, and it's going to help families. Families going to see the difference in their groceries bill, in their monthly or weekly bill, whatever it is. However, again, we must look at some more internal ways, because as some of what Cassius alluded to, we are very high, or one of the highest import tax country in this region. And so we've got to look at some other variables, both importing goods, and we've got to really make a stronger push for locally produced goods. We must make a stronger push for that. We must also make a stronger push for Bahamians to go back sometime in history, because we're gonna have to tighten up our belt. We're not sure where this war is going to go, how long it's going to take. Obviously, America has gotten themselves a surprise as it relates to the retaliation and even probably the strength of Iran in their fight back. And so we're not sure how long this is going to go. So Bahamians, all of us are going to have to, as the Prime Minister and others, meet and seek to bring down the cost. We're going to have to make some adjustment in our own lives, some unnecessary purchases. We're going to have to sit on the back burner for a couple of months or a couple of weeks or whatever it is until we get a clearer picture of what's going to happen going forward. But yes, we need some local produce and local farming. We need to kind of push that. I know the government, past and present, have been trying to push the BAMSI. I think we need to give that a greater effort. We need to see locally grown stuff on the Bahamian table, on the store shelves.
Well, the thing is, would you be interested in purchasing if you see it? If you see the locally grown
It
stuff?
depends on what we got.
Immediately.
But really and truly, we do a fledgling agricultural sector, and so when they have the exchange produce or the
People are out there in droves.
The farmers market on Gladstone, yes. I think it's very well attended, and also the produce is really good too. And so, but I think we just need to give it an extra push, like Ellington is saying, because I visited some farms in Eleuthera, I visited some farms. I know that the farms in Andros, they're really doing well. And so we just have to make sure that we can continue to give them the tools they need, whether it's through hydroponics, vertical farming, and so on, because some of the land and some of the islands are not conducive to farming, because we only have 8% arable land in the Bahamas. But so we could do vertical farming, and we could do a lot of other hydroponics and so on to grow more crops, whether it's citrus and fruits and so on and so on. But it's that extra push in times of this, because in times of war, when the United States goes to war, we all go to war, and so we're all affected, and so we have to do what we need to do to make sure that we can eat and sustain our lifestyle and our livelihood.
I agree, gentlemen. One way, perhaps, is putting a cap on VAT at the pumps. This is from Senator Darren Henfield. Senator Henfield says the government should put a cap on VAT at the pumps to help soften any potential financial increase that is more than likely to come as a result of the conflict there in the Middle East. Gentlemen, Senator Henfield says that this is something that obviously should be considered, reconsidered, and placed on the table immediately. Your thoughts about that?
Is he saying a cap or cut it off? Because I mean, it sounds as if it's a variable cost. Is it VAT a fixed cost? Is it disregard? I'm not sure, because I couldn't understand.
I think the VAT is 10%.
VAT appears to be fixed across the board.
But a cap on it. What do you mean?
Cap
it at what?
I imagine.
I listen.
You see, I heard it say cap, but I'm like, what? Cap it at what? I mean, what are we capping?
10%, 5%?
Just reduce it altogether, or eliminate it on the port, at the pump, until we can get better. I guess, a clear view of what this war
Maybe
will
he's
do.
calling for the
So-
same
so
way
I-
it's being removed off of food, perhaps, forgive me, unprepared food, maybe just for the interim until this conflict,
Yeah.
this war is over, maybe sort of see about some reduction and keep it there until the war is done.
Like I said,
I think he would have been more clear if he had said a reduction. A cap means that you don't raise it, you don't lift it no further, which
Right.
would leave it at
10%.
10%. That's
Is
what
it?
a cap would say. I think he may have wanted, and I don't want to be heard to be speaking for him, but in my mind, I think he may have meant a reduction to probably 5% as the cost of fuel goes up. That will something to consider,
yeah,
obviously.
because I couldn't get the gist of what
No,
he was
not
trying
cap,
to say
no.
in that regard. But I know that that's a way to control the cost of energy or fuel. In the
Because
long run,
with a cap,
At the pumps, yes.
with a cap, if it goes up beyond $5, $6, the 10% automatically depends on what you buy. It still will go up. So then that's a cap on it. It's not going beyond 10%. But
Yeah.
as the price lift, the VAT will lift.
So
So a
even if
cap wouldn't necessarily change anything.
eliminate VAT in the
Eliminate
short,
it,
in the
reduce
short term. In the short term, until we can get a handle of this war, because oil prices is fluctuating above $100.
I would
It-
say
it-
reduce
it-
it.
it is. It
I
has-
would say reduce it
Yeah,
because
maybe a
our government
reduction is
still
best,
needs
yes.
revenue to operate, and we need to be careful of disrupting the government's revenue. And then we have other
But then
issues because we have the nurses and all of those, and
But
those are some pressing issues.
Yeah,
Healthcare.
I agree.
And we need to get a grip on some things real quick.
We also need to get a grip on spending too, though. We got to get a grip
All
on,
of
we
that.
gotta elim-
I
we
think
gotta
I think
eliminate spending.
individually as well. Last evening on the show we talked about government spending, but then Cassius, there's something you said that was quite key. We all maybe have to begin tightening our purse strings in the interim until we see exactly. Not until we see, until this is done.
Yes.
Quite frankly, because the oil has been the highest. I think yesterday it was since this conflict began, and we only know in the U.S. they're already seeing an increase in the cost of gas, a gallon of gas, and so when does
Iran
this?
said we're going to see $200 a barrel.
Oh,
So
when will this now, the ripple effects, you see?
So if I was y'all, I would go on your E-Trade account and buy some. Shanique, tonight go and buy some stocks in oil. If it's $100 a barrel, buy some stocks. If they're projecting going to $200 a barrel, if you buy it at 100, you will make a lot of money. So please go and E-Trade. And so instead of having the war work against you,
Good
the war
financial
work for you.
advice.
Make the war work for you. Make the war work for you. Gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to talk about Cuba, how Cuba is being impacted. I think it's a blackout now for the second day and night in a row. Some Bahamians are there. Also, Bahamians in the Middle East, how are they faring as well? And of course, later on, we're going to move on to F&M leader Michael Pentard is following Janet Bostwick's lead. He says, yes, it might take a climb, but the F&M has what it takes to win the next general election. We're going to talk about that as well. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're back right after this.
Vibes is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the vibes back. At BTC, we understand your vibes because we live it. That's why we are dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You are at the heart of everything we do. Our commitment is to keep your vibes flowing, no matter what.
John, I just found out that KFC has an irresistible promo.
Crunch into the juicy flavor of the new KFC Rapstar, a classic made modern that's crunchy, melty, and grilled to perfection for all the journeys of your day. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Bahamian ownership in fly fishing is very important. Not only does it create opportunities for Bahamians, this is our industry, so we're proud of what we do. Opportunity is important. It's the story of my life because with the opportunities, you can chart your own course. Prime Minister Davis and his team see the opportunities by providing these grants and what it can do for our country. It's just wonderful, and I'm glad to see these ventures working so that other people can get involved. This is real. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's help ourselves.
There are a lot of new opportunities in our country. We are building an economy that includes everyone. And you chose to come to BTVI.
The best place to learn.
Expanding and updating BTVI.
It prepared me for the future to be an entrepreneur.
And this is what this is all about. We are creating more opportunities for more Bahamians because opportunity is the key to success.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Nearly 11 million people in Cuba are entering a second night without power after the grid collapsed on Monday, now being deemed a crisis. The blackout reportedly stems from the United States halting critical oil shipments to the island from Venezuela after the capture of its leader, Nicolas Maduro, some 2 months ago. Dr. Ellenston Raming, Bahamian ambassador to Cuba, says much of the Bahamian residents on Cuba are moving and operating in complete darkness, including medical students who make up much of the Bahamian diaspora currently working in hospital.
I've not heard any active discussion yet to evacuate out of school. It might be the thought process, but it's not been activated yet. So far, they're coping, but it is very challenging because public transportation has been compromised, and many of them do not have the necessary deep freeze facilities to store their food, and so they reach out to the embassy or to a diplomatic officer to assist in that regard. They're still working in the hospitals, many of the senior students, and many of the junior medical students are studying online to the extent possible, because without electricity, it is now difficult to do that.
Raming says he is unsure if there could be plans to evacuate those students. We will continue to follow that, obviously. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates continuing to feel the effects from the United States-Israeli attack on Iran. The latest on Monday, when a drone attack near Dubai International Airport sent thick black smoke into the air, forcing flights to be suspended. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs acknowledging that the UAE has a great Bahamian population, and their safety remains priority as those countries continue to grapple with flaming missile and drone attacks.
So we're tracking developments in the Middle East, specifically the Gulf countries that are being affected. We are in contact with our partners, with the governments of the UAE, of Qatar, of Saudi Arabia, and of Oman. Thankfully, there are still commercial flights in all of those jurisdictions, the safer ones being from Oman and Saudi Arabia. The embassy has been in crisis mode, and we've been conducting exercises for consular services. Of all of the countries in that region, the UAE has the largest Bahamian population. There are some families that have elected to shelter in place and follow the advice of local authorities. There are other families that are in different circumstances, so they've reached out to our embassy. We don't have a requirement if you register abroad. I would strongly encourage anyone to register abroad. It's always better to register before a crisis happens, but we can only go by the numbers of persons who are registered, so we don't have an exact figure. But we don't have as many people as, for example, Trinidad. Primarily, we advise anyone who's in a foreign country to follow the advice of local authorities. Whenever there's a crisis, you'll find that there's a proliferation of misinformation on social media. It's important to remain calm. From having evacuated Bahamians from other countries, including Israel, the process is quite smooth. Bahamians are well organized. We know how to pack quickly. We do remain calm. It's probably because we are used to packing up for things like hurricanes and other natural disasters, so the process is usually quite smooth.
Well, of course, that is an official from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs speaking about Cassius and Ellington, the issue facing Bahamians in the Middle East. It seems everybody is accounted for and safe at the moment, but we see, of course, on our televisions how this is playing out. Dubai is being bombed in certain areas, and other areas in the Middle East as well are being bombed. So everybody is paying attention very, very closely. And of course, again, we are also watching what's taking shape in Cuba. Now, get this, you all. Speaking of the Middle East and its impact, listen to this. If you plan on traveling very soon, you might have to shell out more for that airline ticket as Middle East tensions continue to affect fuel costs for local companies. Danielle Dean has the story.
A global conflict with local consequences. Bahamian Airlines are now preparing for what could be a 40% increase in fuel cost, driven by tensions in the Middle East. Western Air CEO Rexy Roll says they're already feeling the shift.
That does not mean that ticket prices will rise over 40%. We're just prepared in terms of understanding that with rising fuel costs does potentially open the door for a surcharge for passengers to feel. And that would be a minimal surcharge of anywhere from $4 to $9 to help offset these rising operational costs.
But while airlines say increases will be limited, online the reaction has been swift. For many, the concern isn't just airfare, it's the cumulative cost of living. Still, airlines maintain they're trying to minimize the impact.
Like most carriers, we're all closely monitoring the situation. And while every airline has its own fuel arrangements and contracts, we, of course, no one expects such a serious spike in such a short amount of time, but we're doing our best to continue to monitor it.
Meanwhile, Flamingo Air is also preparing for impact. President Captain Raymond Meadows says the airline is looking at ways to soften the blow, including optimizing flight routes, adjusting aircraft use, and tightening operations. The goal, keep costs down without passing too much on to customers. But how long that balance can hold depends on how long fuel prices remain unstable. For now, travelers may see only minor increases, but online, many aren't convinced those increases will stay small. Danielle Dean, Eyewitness News.
Gentlemen, of course, we hope that airline and airline operators here in the Bahamas locally do not have to increase their costs, but we saw Western Air saying, listen, it's a possibility if this continues, and obviously we see the cost of a barrel of oil has increased in the last 2 days, and so if that continues, then obviously this is what she's forecasting.
Most of the players, some of the players that I have contact with in the fuel business say that, because they have existing fuel storage and they have inventory, they're not really affected by the price now. I guess now, once all those inventories depleted, then going back to the international market to purchase more fuel, you may see an increase based upon the market value of the gallon of oil. So I think right now, you said right now, they told me right now everything is okay. There's no increase. Those who are increasing their price want to increase their price. They don't have to, but I still, but if this continues for another 2, 3, 4 weeks, I think we may have some issues with increasing price. So buckle up, buy your tickets now. You can buy your tickets now, and then you won't have to be affected by any changes.
And in addition to that, I want to admonish those persons, suppliers, and companies to kind of work with the Bahamian public, the Bahamian traveling public, and those companies that need fuel to move about and to move goods about. Let's be kind of sober in this, and not just to take advantage of this situation and increase price because this is what you think people expect or know it's going to happen, or to use it as an alibi to raise price. Let's wait. Let's use the resources, the supply that we have. Once we have to get new supplies, if by then the price is affected, then we anticipate that we will pay higher prices. But let's kind of not use this time to take advantage of the Bahamian public.
Well, gentlemen, let's shift gears. Listen to this. An industrial tribunal ruling tonight involving F&M Pine Ridge candidate Dr. Charlene Reed. She and her dental practice ordered to pay a former employee more than $3,000 for a wrongful dismissal. The tribunal finding the employee was sidelined after refusing to join a workplace birthday club, a move it ruled amounted to constructive dismissal. Dr. Reed says the actions were not intentional and the matter has been satisfied. She doesn't, listen, her or any other candidate at this moment needs any sort of distraction like this to be accused of firing somebody because they didn't want to participate in a work event.
I don't even know if this is worth commenting, but one of the things we were discussing off the air is that if she has a corporate, if she have a corporation, if a company is incorporated, that is a legal entity separate and apart from her. For us to begin to tie these corporations to the individual is not a good thing. It's not right, because once you have a company that is incorporated, that's a legal separate entity. So if that is sued, the person is not sued. And so what we're trying to do is really tie, because she's a candidate. If she wasn't a candidate, they wouldn't have said that. And so it ain't really, I don't really defend the F&M these days, but it ain't really right to tie her into like that. And so if the company was incorporated.
Well, I have several problems with it. Even if it was incorporated, the company that is an individual itself, or an entity in and of itself, some human being still must put laws and policies in place for that to operate by. So it ain't gonna create its own opportunity. It's not an AI. That's one thing. Number two, I think they don't need this distraction. I'm happy to hear that she paid it off, but it begs for a bigger picture for me, though.
I agree.
You're going into politics. Is this who you are?
Yeah, because now that,
Yes.
when you're reading and you're live, you're just trying to get through the script. But why, she was fired because she didn't want to be in the birthday club?
Yeah. Is this how you think? Is this how you're going to deal with us?
We can get to the soul of that matter in the next segment.
Well, let's
I'm
move
concerned
on
about
then.
that.
We can get to the root of that matter in the next segment.
Days after former Cabinet Minister Dame Janet Bostwick said if the F&M is to win the next general election, it will be a climb for them, but not impossible. Well, F&M leader Michael Pintard is agreeing with Bostwick. Speaking out today, Pintard says he's confident that he will be victorious in that climb. Now, gentlemen, looking at the landscape of the Free National Movement and the issues like the level of discord within the party that have plagued the organization since losing at the polls 5 years ago, roughly, how tough a climb do you feel it is for the F&M to secure a win at the polls in a few months?
He must see a break win, but he ain't gonna win this. Must see break and win, because he can't win. Can't win, Shanique. Can't win. Because, the problem with the Free National Movement is they're too disjointed. And the F&M has some fundamental flaws. One of the fundamental flaws is that they really don't care about people. And so one of the issues with the last segment was, you want to fire the gal because she in the birthday club. And then, over the weekend I was at a funeral, and so of course the Free National Movement leader came to the funeral in his F&M costume. Who comes to a funeral in costume? Red tie, red, putting them, raffling and pin on. I mean,
come on now, no, Cassius, be fair. No, be fair, Cassius,
you
because
don't come to funeral in your costume.
If it's a suit and he's wearing a red tie, what was the issue with that?
You don't do that the man is mourning his mother. The man is crying. You come with all your costume on, with your pin on, your red boat, what you call it, in your pocket, and your tie on. You don't do that. You come to mourn. If you care about this man, you would have not brought politics in it. I'm going to have the testicular fortitude to say, vote out for them in the funeral. Oh. I mean, come on, man. No. This dude ain't got no political manners. No. You got to care about people. Care about the man who is grieving his mother, Howard Johnson, grieving his mother. Sad, crying. You come in your costume to promote your political agenda. And see, that's the problem with the FNM. They don't care about people. All of this is their agenda. They want their agenda and they will use and trample and walk over whoever to get their agenda. You don't do that. If you come to mourn, if you care about this person, then care about them. Forget your political party. Forget your political objective. Give some kind of concern that show that you give two hoots about this person, this human being who got a legitimate concern and grieving. But you come in your costume. Your costume. I mean, you even had your, what you call it? Your mascots with you. Don't do that, man, Michael. Don't do that. That's sad. That is sad.
Ellington?
Shanique, out fishing in your boat and the boat catch a leak. Yes, you still want to catch fish, but first of all, you must plug that leak or else you're going to go down in the ocean with all of the fish in it. And I say that to say that politics is a people's game. And yes, I agree with Dame Janet Bostwick. It's not unsurmountable. The FNM can win. It's still possible out there. But however, you cannot say you're going to win and not deal with some pertinent issues that is happening daily within the party. It's about people. You cannot be satisfied that people are leaving your ranks and you're disjointed. You've got to be able to pull things together, and I think that is essentially
because he addressed that. He spoke to that. If you read the article, it was a thorough article where he didn't run away from any issue. He said he acknowledged, yes, people have left. Maybe some are still leaving. But he talked about that. He talked about the fact that also when Dr. Minnis was Prime Minister and leader of the FNM, he had the full support. Pindar says he suggested, rather, that he perhaps doesn't enjoy that full support.
I mean, but you all run with Minnis. They run Minnis. Minnis say you all run. You all decide not to nominate Minnis. He wanted to run.
When this happens where almost everybody who was denied a nomination has some affiliation or linkage to Minnis, it's not a good perception and it doesn't sit well with people of the party, and so it keeps the party in a disarray, in a disjointed fashion.
No, the party's
this is not unifying.
Too disjointed.
It is not unifying, and I think that is what Dame Janet spoke to. It's not unsurmountable, but there are some things that must be done to unify and ready the party to surmount to a win in the general election.
So the only win he can get?
Stop it. When we come back.
He might get trade wins.
Stop it. When we come back, we will speak with a University of the Bahamas professor who says she is being unfairly treated as it relates to her degree. We talk to her right after the break.
The Fox Foundation proudly presents the keynote speaker for the 3rd Annual Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative, this March 19th at 7 p.m. at the beautiful Baha Mar Resort. Get ready to be inspired by Randy Zuckerberg, tech innovator and the creator of Facebook Live. She revolutionized real-time digital engagement, empowering individuals and brands to broadcast instantly to global audiences. And now she brings that innovation and insight to the Fox Foundation's 3rd Annual Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative, March 19th at 7 p.m. at the Baha Mar Resort. Under this year's theme, Give to Gain, join us for a night designed to inspire growth, spark opportunity, and strengthen the future of women in business.
Play for fun, not for funds.
In the Bahamas, we play hard, but we live smart.
We love a little competition.
A little excitement, a little thrill.
And at Idle Luck, gaming is all about entertainment.
Shared moments, celebrating the wins, and enjoying the experience.
The key is simple. Play for fun, not for funds.
When you set a budget before you start,
and know your limits, you stay in control.
And when you're in control, the game stays what it's meant to be.
Fun. So play for fun, not for funds.
Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
The race to 2026 is heating up, and the nation's voice is louder than ever. Here on Beyond the Headlines, we're checking the mood, the momentum, and the message of the people. I'm Shanique Miller. Each week, we're taking the temperature of the electorate to see what's really driving the nation. Who's connecting? Who's cooling off? What issues are heating up ahead of 2026? This is Temperature Check 2026, where journalism meets the nation's heartbeat. Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Dr. Anastasia Brown has been in a fight with the University of the Bahamas for quite a while now. The fight is over her degree and whether she received that doctorate from an accredited university. Now she's being prevented, she says, and she spoke with Eyewitness News, I think it was yesterday in fact, from teaching a course in line with the name of the degree she's earned. Good evening to you, Dr. Anastasia Brown. It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
What exactly is happening? And I thought this issue, because I think it was last year.
Yes, it was last year.
You were here to try and bring attention to this, as well as with the union.
Correct.
But nothing's happened?
Well, in September, the president, he met with the union, and they agreed to teach, for me to teach the Management 101 class, Management 203, Management 303, and the Management 450. They are organizational leadership classes. In January, when we returned, I was scheduled to teach a double section of management class. About 2 hours before I was scheduled to enter the class to begin teaching, I received a call from the chair who indicated that I must not go to the class because SAC-COC had indicated that I was uncredentialed in November. So I immediately let the union know, and the union took action. And from then till now, even with the support of the lawyer who wrote to them, letting them know that they are in breach of their own policy and SAC-COC policy, that on 2 weeks ago, they still said, oh no, your degree is only an education degree. Now I have a master's degree in learning and reading disability from the University of Miami, and my undergraduate degree in business ed from University of Georgia. My PhD, my doctor's degree, is in organizational leadership and organizational development from Grand Canyon University.
But what is the issue you were told?
I was told that SACS uncredentialed me. But when I later met with the credentialing office, the union met with the credentialing office, it was clarified. No, I was only flagged by the credentialing office, and it was University of the Bahamas' position to justify me teaching a Management 101, which is the introductory level class. They claimed that they were unable to justify me teaching it because they claim organizational leadership and organizational development with an educational degree. And if they had just Googled and put in organizational leadership, they would have seen that organizational is an interdisciplinary degree. It covers education, it covers management, and it covers psychology. So I could teach education, I can teach management, and I can teach human resources.
Is this affecting your class load? Are you paid by the class load?
I am actually a non-instructional faculty. I actually teach part-time, but because our UTEB agreement and SAS COC, you must do credential for both your full-time and adjunct faculty. So that's what they're saying. They do not have to worry about me because I'm an adjunct. But SACS policy states you must credential everybody. And by the fact that you're telling me I'm your employee who has been there for almost 20 years.
You've been adjunct for almost 20 years?
I'm a non-instructional faculty. A non-instructional faculty is faculty. We keep on telling them that. I'm a non-instructional faculty. A non-instructional faculty is a person who works 9 to 5. The instructional faculty are the ones who their classes are staggered. So I work 9 to 5, but I can teach at least 2 classes in the evening. That's what it is.
What do you suppose? I mean, where's all this coming from? Because for the average person who says, wait a minute, you have all these various degrees, including a doctorate from an accredited institution, that you are, again, I ask you, oh, so you're not being prevented. This doesn't affect your class load?
No, it doesn't affect my regular job, but they tell me I can't teach. They could tell me I could teach education from my master's degree, but you're discrediting my PhD degree because they're saying that they said it's not a terminal degree for organizational leadership and organizational behavior. The department, the business department, HOD, the chair, and the dean credentialed me in these areas, but they said that it's not enough information. On last week, Monday, we agreed, sat at the table, and we said that if the School of Business credentials me and Grand Canyon University sends a letter that states that I can teach, my degree is a business degree, then they will credential me. That was done. Then they said, oh, that's not sufficient information.
But the University of Bahamas is looking for the degreed and credentialed professor, yes?
Correct.
And you feel as though, listen, you show up to the table with everything they ask for to be able to help the students at the end of the day be able to matriculate and gain their degrees and go wherever they want to go.
Correct.
What do you think is happening here?
Because I spoke out. Let's be real.
Because what?
I spoke out against please, I have no issue with accreditation. I must state that for the record. I have no issue. I have an issue with the way it is being done. It should be done fairly and transparently. When they said that SACS flagged me, I said, according to which policy that they flagged me? Was it UB's policy, or was it SACS policy, or both? Let me see what they say. Because if I was flagged, you should have given me sufficient time to submit the information. My university submitted all the course outline. They sent all the information from the catalog, all the links for them to review. They have not done that. They're claiming that they need a third-party evaluation, but that's not what SACS says. SACS says the university justifies the faculty, and that is done internally in the department. The department did that, but now they're claiming.
So it's something else. You feel as though when you meet whatever the new criteria is, then it's now something else.
Correct.
Where do you think you even can find some resolve? Because this has been lingering. I know that you and I think the UTEB president have been here before last year to talk about this and bring this to light. But where do you go from here?
Because this is not only affecting me, I'm the only one who spoke out. There are other persons who are affected, but they're scared. They're scared because they're scared of being victimized. And now they're saying, Brown, you're being victimized. And I can call it, they say you're being victimized for speaking up. And I say, no, I don't want to think that. I don't want to think that. So I'm asking the government, other educators, PhDs and doctor's degree persons all around the country, please chime in. Our Bahamians are being affected. You said you want Bahamians to come home to invest in our university, in our country. That's what I came home to do. I gave up a lot to come home, to stay in the Bahamas. I love my country. I love my university. My students could tell you they demand my classes. They request my classes because I'm a trained teacher. So I just don't teach regularly. I am hands-on, practical. I make my classmen bring my class to life. And my students could tell you, because when they found out that I was removed, they dropped the class.
Oh, really?
And so they told me to teach it for a second week because they couldn't find anyone to put it. After the students rejoined the class, when drop and add was over, they removed me from the class. That's when I had a problem, because you used me.
Well, where do you go? Tomorrow, for example, Wednesday, the 18th of March, where can you go? What's the next step?
Well, I have written to SAC-COC, and I've asked them to investigate the process, because if we are getting their accreditation, we need to make sure that the University of Bahamas is upholding the process. Because SACS only wants you to do is uphold what you say you're doing. And in their policy, they said you need to have a master's degree, 18 credit hours, or a terminal degree in the area or the related area. They also put in the account your profession. I've been a manager for more than 20 years. So you tell me being a manager for more than 20 years, I can't teach a basic management 101 class? My dissertation on change management and transformational leadership dissertation has been posted and published. So you tell me I cannot teach? I have more than 32 credit hours in research. And you tell me I cannot teach a basic research class? Come on now. Come on. I just want to be treated fairly, and I want the others at the University of the Bahamas who are being treated like this to be treated fairly. They can say they ain't nobody because SACS only checks certain amount every semester. They'll keep on checking. It's me today. Tomorrow it can be somebody else.
Well, I'll tell you, you can come by and again and see what I mean. If you keep perhaps screaming,
I'm going to scream
from the mountaintop. Maybe somebody will,
like a lawyer told him to do, request a judicial review of the process. I'm trying not to go there. Because we have enough intelligent person at the University of the Bahamas. If you're telling me the dean, the chair, the dean is teaching the research classes. We did classes at the same university. So she's credentialed to teach research. We did classes at the same university.
The same university?
The same university. Mm-hmm. The chair has a degree in organizational leadership and HR. They know what my degree is. The dean has been a dean for years. She's familiar with the whole program, so she knows what the criteria are. But you're discounting. So if you're discounting them for my degrees, then you're trying to discount them for the other person's degree that they credential.
Make an appeal. Look in this camera right here. Make an appeal to the Ministry of Education, the Board of University of Bahamas, whomever it is that you come in the sort of the line of right. who you must address. Look right there and make that tonight.
I'm not here to destroy or stop credentialing. I'm not here to stop us from getting credentials that we need. We're asking for the process to be fair, not just for me, but for all faculty members, all new faculty members, and all faculty members, all Bahamians who plan to come here in the future, that their degrees are valued. We want to be treated fairly. That's all we're asking, to be treated fairly.
I agree. It's about time this matter was addressed, that you can move on and do what it is you love.
Correct. Teaching, yes.
Unhindered.
Yes.
Unhindered, because this is, you've been here before.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Last year, I think a few times.
A few times.
Yeah.
BTVI having the same issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank
Anastasia.
you for having me.
Dr. Anastasia Brown. Again, this platform is available to you if you need to speak out again. Thank you very much, and I wish you the best in trying to get this resolved.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, favorably. Thank you once again. Also, thanks to the Hot Topics panel who were here earlier, Cassia Stewart, Ellington Ferguson, and a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in this evening. It's certainly been awesome having you tune in. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. Tomorrow night, temperature check. Which constituencies? You heard that? Constituencies. That means like plural, right? So we're looking at Central and South Eleuthera and St. Barnabas. That's right. And so the panel is going to be ready to talk about exactly how those people are showing up, how they look, and where those seats are leaning now. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.